Okay, so are you ready to hop across the pond for this deep dive?
Absolutely. Always up for a little virtual adventure. Where are we headed?
This time, it's Lisbon, Portugal. We're taking a look at one of those top 5 must-see places lists. You know, the kind every travel site loves.
Ah, yes, those. A dime a dozen, but sometimes they hide some real gems.
Exactly. And that's our mission today, to unearth the fascinating, the unexpected, and those "why didn't I think of that" travel tips.
Sounds like fun. So what's first on our Lisbon hit list?
Well, they kick things off with Belém Tower. Big surprise, right? UNESCO World Heritage Site, perched on the Tagus River. But why should we actually care?
It's more than just a pretty tower, that's for sure. Imagine this. It's the 16th century, the age of discovery, and you're a sailor about to embark on a perilous journey into the unknown.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Belém Tower was like their last glimpse of home.
Exactly. Think Vasco da Gama setting sail from there, discovering a new route to India. This tower is a symbol of Portugal's seafaring legacy, ambition on a global scale.
Wow, okay, so not just a pretty facade. It's like stepping back in time to a pivotal moment in history.
And speaking of history, the architecture itself is fascinating. Belém Tower is a prime example of Manueline style, named after King Manuel I. It was a golden age for Portugal, and their architecture reflects that.
Now, this Manueline style, I've heard it described as this ornate blend of Gothic and Renaissance elements. But what does that actually look like?
Picture incredibly intricate stone carvings, almost like lace, but in stone. You'll see it in when we get to another spot on the list. Jerónimos Monastery.
Jerónimos Monastery, yeah.
Yeah.
Another UNESCO site, right? What's the story there?
Well, if Belém Tower was the starting point for exploration, Jerónimos Monastery is like the celebratory monument to its success. King Manuel, I commissioned it to honor Vasco da Gama's voyage to India and the wealth from those spice routes. Well, let's just say they didn't hold back on the details.
Talk about a testament to success. Okay,
Oh,
so we've had our grand history lesson. What about something a little different?
you mean like exploring the heart and soul of old Lisbon?
Exactly. And luckily for us, this list takes us straight to Alfama next. What's the vibe like there?
Imagine this. You wander down narrow cobblestone streets, sunlight filtering through clotheslines strung between colorful buildings. You stumble upon a tiny cafe, aroma of strong coffee and pastéis de nata filling the air.
Oh, those Portuguese custard carts. I've heard they're divine.
They're a must-try. But back to Alfama. It's a place where you can lose yourself in the maze of streets, discover hidden courtyards, and really get a feel for the city's history.
Sounds like a welcome contrast to the grandeur of the tower and monastery.
It is, and then to top it off, you might stumble upon a Fado performance.
Ah, Fado. It always reminds me of those old black and white movies full of longing and passion.
That's a good way to put it. Fado is the sound of Lisbon's soul, steeped in history and emotion. You'll find these little Fado houses tucked away, offering an intimate and authentic cultural experience.
Now that's what I call diving into the local scene. But our list doesn't stop there, does it? It goes from historic charm to, well, what's LX Factory all about?
Imagine the energy of Lisbon's creative scene condensed into a vibrant, repurposed industrial complex. Old factories transformed into art studios, workshops, trendy restaurants, you name it.
So it's like stepping into the future after a deep dive into the past.
Precisely. LX Factory is all about innovation, independent businesses, and that raw artistic energy. A complete contrast to the historical landmarks, but that's what makes Lisbon so captivating.
And what better way to round off our Lisbon adventure than with a stop at Praça do Comércio?
Ah, the grand finale. This plaza is huge, right on the banks of the Tagus. Imagine strolling through, soaking up the atmosphere, watching street performers.
And enjoying a final pastel de nata as the sun sets over the river. You've painted quite the picture.
And it's not just the views. Praça do Comércio is a place to watch Lisbon go by, to reflect on the historical echoes and the modern pulse of the city.
You know, it's funny how a simple top 5 places list turned into this amazing journey.
It just goes to show every place has hidden depths waiting to be explored. And those 5 spots, they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Lisbon.
It makes you wonder about all the hidden gems we missed tucked away in those winding streets. I guess that's the beauty of travel and of these deep dives. They spark a curiosity that makes you want to discover more. So, to our listeners, if you ever find yourself in Lisbon, remember, those 5 must-see places, they're just the beginning of your adventure.